Well, hey there, guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, we're making some pen boxes. Well, in continuing with our series of what to do with an old rocking chair, where last time we ended up making some pens, this time we're going to make some pen boxes to go with them. Now, guys, I've kind of gone through the stock, and it's kind of going to be some patchwork here because it's kind of difficult to get any kind of usable stock out of something that's already been drilled and, screwed into and that sort of thing. But we're going to give it a whirl. And we're going to start off with some of the pieces of that chair, and we're going to mill them down to 1/2 inch thick. Well, now for each one of the pen cases that I need to make, I need to have two pieces that are going to be of this 1/2 inch thick material, and they're going to be 1 1/8 of an inch wide and 6.5 inches long. Now I'm going to be making 4 pen cases, so I need 8 pieces like that. So from here on in, guys, I'm just going to be talking about building one pen box, so I don't have to confuse you with numbers. So anyway, 1 1/8 wide, 1/2 inch thick, 6.5 inches long. You're going to need 2 per pencil box that you're making. Well, due to the limitations of the stock, I actually reduced the width by 1/16. So these are actually 1 1/16 of an inch wide. But now I need to get a groove in each one of these in order to hold our pen. And for that, what we're going to do is I'm going to head over to the router table and I'm going to set up a cove bit. Well, I know that I said we were heading to the router table with a cove bit, but honestly, guys, I did some test cutting and I'm just not comfortable with it. I tried a few things. The cove bit isn't quite deep enough to do what I want it to do. And on top of that, it's the procedure, I just felt it wasn't safe. So we are going to take this in a completely different direction. And it just illustrates the fact that if you're not happy with something, if you're trying something or considering a method, think it through. And if you're not happy or you don't feel safe, don't do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. That's the rule to live by out here in the shop. So what I'm going to do is on each of these pieces, I'm going to draw a cutout that will hold the pen. And from there, once I get it drawn on both pieces, I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw and I'm going to slice a 1/8 inch slice off of the back side of it, not the side that I draw the pattern on. Once I get that done, I'm going to take the piece with the pattern drawn on it over to the scroll saw, and we are going to cut that out on both pieces, and then we're going to laminate our pieces back together. So for these glue ups, guys, you really can't have them shifting. So I've shown you this trick before. You can try it if you want. And that's just a little bit of salt in your glue after you spread it. And what that's going to do is act as a grit. And it's going to keep our pieces from shifting and hold them in place until the glue is dry. Okay, and with that, there isn't anything else that you can do right now. So we're going to let these completely set up overnight at least 24 hours, and then we'll come back to them and carry on. Well, truth be told, it has been about a week since I started this project, and we do have on some of the pieces a little bit of squeeze out. I was having some issues. So what we need to do now is level out both of our sides of each one of our pieces so that they all end up to be the same width with flat sides. So I'm going to clamp this up at the bench. I'm going to use a sharp chisel and just gently trim off any of the squeeze out. Once I get that done, I'm going to use a block plane to flatten out the entire piece. And then over at the table saw, we're going to trim this up to make the opposite side parallel, but we're going to take off as little material as we can. We just want to take off enough to flatten it out and make it even, make it parallel. And we want to make all of our pieces here the exact same width. Okay, and now at this point you have these, which are exactly the same width. They're nice and flat and nice and even on both sides. We haven't done anything with the ends, and that's on purpose. That's by design. So what we need to do now is the interior pieces of these recesses will face each other, and this is what makes the compartment of our pen box. But now on one of our pieces, it doesn't matter which one, you can pick. We need to, about 1/3 of the way up, you can just guess it, it's not a measurement. So 1/3 of the way up, we're going to want a 45-degree angle, just like this. All right? Now, here's the thing. I don't want to cut this at the table saw. Cutting this at the table saw is going to take away too much of the stock. It's a 1/8 wide blade, and we've got minimal stock here at the ends. So we're going to use a hand saw. So for this, I'm going to use my miter box. So what I've done is I've clamped a scrap piece of cherry in place here as a stop block for repeatability. And I'm just going to slide my saw into the guides and line up our piece here up against the stop, and we're going to cut this all the way through. Just like that. And now with those pieces cut, we can hold this whole thing together just like this, and we're going to now trim up our ends to make them nice and even. And then we can carry on once we get those trimmed up. Well, at this point, with some of the cuts from the hand saw, we have a few little burrs in here. So I'm going to sand those off and get those flush and get rid of all those burrs. You don't want to sand them too much though, because we still want these pieces here to mesh and to fit properly together. So once you get that sanded, you can put the longer piece of your two aside, and we want to glue our smaller piece onto our full box bottom sort of thing, like this. You want to make sure that your ends are lined up perfectly and that your edges are lined up. We don't want this to slide. So get that glued up like that, and once you're happy with that and it's dry, we can start making the sides of our pen box. So while we're waiting for the glue to dry on the main body of the pen boxes, I have taken some more parts of the chair and just resawn them down. And we're going to take them over to the thickness planer, and I'm going to bring them down to a final dimension of 1/4 of an inch thick. Well, I've cut all of my pieces, and they are as wide as what this whole thing here is thick. So you just want to measure that. There's going to be discrepancies. So it's around 1 inch. So what we need to do now is we've cut it to the exact same length as our pen box, but we need to put this assembly aside. We don't need it right now, but what I have done is on the opposite side, because I'm making multiple cases, I have numbered the ends here so I know what goes with what to make sure that nothing gets mixed up. So what we want to do here, we'll just show you how to do this so that you're not going to get confused. You'll see that our long piece is on top. We're going to take this whole assembly, we're going to flip it over, and then we're going to remove the piece that we glued together. Now you'll see here that we have that longer section that was left, and we are going to glue this together with the two sides just like this, making sure that the end is flush and making sure that this surface here is flush. So depending on how many boxes you're making, glue them together just like that. Now guys, when doing this glue up, do whatever you have to, use whatever means at your disposal to give a nice square flat glue up, whether it be straight edges like what I've got here, flat assembly boards, squares clamped in place, whatever it takes. You want to make sure that this is nice and flat. We will have a little bit of wiggle room for sanding after, but not much. So be as accurate as you can here. Okay, so we're going to put this aside to dry, but you want to take its mating piece, this interior piece. And even though we were very careful here, we've still got a little bit of a raised edge. So I'm going to get some sandpaper, mount it to a piece of MDF, 3/4 inch thick MDF, and I'm going to sand this flat. The goal here is not just to sand it flat, but we want to reduce its size just slightly because it's going to need to fit right here in between these pieces. So for now, we'll let this dry, but we'll get that sanded up, and then I'll show you how it's supposed to fit in here. So when you get these edges sanded, they should be absolutely perfectly smooth and perfectly flush. And when they mesh together with these pieces, you want a solid fit, but not a tight fit. You should be able to remove this with very little friction. So this here actually has a little bit too much friction for me, because once we put a finish on this, that's going to add some thickness. So can you hear that? We don't want that kind of friction. We want it to be fairly loose in here. So that's what we're going to aim for. I'm going to continue to sand this and fine tune the fit until we get it the way that we want it, with very little friction between the outer pieces and the inner core. So this is what we're looking at this point. We have our glue up here. We have our center core piece, which is very loosely fitting in here, but still a little bit of friction. So what we're going to do is on the side here, you can see down here where this section is going to fit, I have placed a mark. And this mark is 3/8 of an inch in from the end and 5/16 of an inch up from the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together so that we see our pieces here meshing the way that we want. Don't worry if your ends are uneven or anything like that. Just get this section here looking the way that you want it. You don't want it too tight. You want to give it a little bit of a gap. Just like that. That looks good to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to the drill press and I'm going to drill a 1/8 diameter hole right at that point there that I drew, all the way down through all of these layers. And now what I have is a length of 1/8 diameter brass rod, and I'm just going to tap this down through the layers, just like that. It's not quite long enough, so I'm going to cut a different one and put it in. And what you have there is your hinge. We're going to use some CA glue to glue that in place, but you have a hinge for your pen box. And this way your pen can sit here in this section and then be closed up inside the box. Now, as well, it can also be opened up and displayed if you want. It's up to you. It's your call. So at this point now, with that brass pin in there, this one's not glued in, but I'm going to cut a longer one and glue it in place. At this point, if you have any out of alignment edges on either end, you can trim those up if you want. Nothing wrong with that. And we're going to do a bit of shaping at the sander. We're going to sand some of it on here to level out any surfaces that are uneven. We're going to soften these corners and give it some shape. And then I'll show you at that point what we've got left with this. And there you go. Once you get your shaping done, however you want it, this is your pen box. Now I will be adding, on these ones anyway, custom engravings on each one of the boxes. Maybe a little bit of a poetic line telling them where the wood came from, that sort of thing. And as well, I'm also thinking once the finish is applied, I will be flocking the interior surface in here. Now I won't be able to get right down inside, but I should be able to get in there enough that you won't be able to see what's not flocked, and it'll still protect the pen. So I may flock both this surface here and this one. I'm also considering potentially drilling in a 1/8 inch rare earth magnet into each one of these sides to help keep it closed, and possibly even sanding a little finger pull here to be able to open it easily. But there you go, guys. There is the pen case made from pieces of the chair that I milled down, solid maple, and you can sit it like this, place your pen in here, and as I said, you can either display it if you wish, or you want to keep it as a pen case, close it up inside, and that's it. Your pen is safe and protected. And there you have it. Custom pen cases. Guys, this is yet another project in What to Do with a Decrepit Rocking Chair series, if you want to call it a series, basically where I disassembled a chair that had some sentimental value, and I am now repurposing that lumber into different projects. Previously, we made pens, and today we're making pen boxes for those 4 pens. Now, these pen boxes, it leaves a lot of open area for modification. If you don't want to do laser engraving, if you don't want to do flocking, if you don't want to do magnetic closures or thumb pulls or whatever, you don't have to. If you don't want to use a brass rod, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. I'm just presenting an idea here or a concept, and this is kind of what I came up with, and this is where I went with this project. So don't be discouraged if, you know, one of these aspects of the project doesn't pertain to you. Let's say the brass rod. You don't have brass rod or access to it, or you don't want to give that extra expense. A piece of dowel will work just fine. Just make sure that you don't glue the center section to the dowel. Give it something to spin on. That's all. You don't need to do exactly as I do. The other thing, guys, is if you are repurposing wood like this, as I said earlier in the show, there's going to be some waste, and it is unavoidable. There are things like screw holes. There are things like dowel holes, joinery methods, etc., threaded inserts. All of these things take away stock and usable stock. And if you want the, say, pen case to have a complete board on it without having to laminate or use wood filler or an inlay or whatever, then you're going to have to make compromises, and you're going to have to make sacrifices, and those sacrifices usually end up in scrap wood. But it doesn't matter, because all of those other pieces, I'm hoping to turn them into some other projects. I want to utilize as much of this wood as I possibly can into different meaningful projects. Either way, guys, these are the pen boxes that I came up with. I think they look great. They're really functional. They work as both a display and as storage. And you know what? Hopefully my kids love them, and hopefully they enjoy them, because that's who they were designed for. That's who they were made for. And isn't that what it's all about anyway? Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you've enjoyed the project. Something a little different, but for those of you out there who are pen turners and are looking for a different way to, say, sell your pens or display your pens, you might want to give these a whirl. It wouldn't be so much of a pain as what I had to go through with all the milling of the wood and stuff. You could mass produce these things very easily with some quick setups with stop blocks, etc. Either way, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you found any part of this video interesting, or if you haven't already, why not like and subscribe to the channel? We've got an amazing audience base here, and I'm hoping that you're going to consider becoming a part of that. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the project. I hope you're going to give something like this a try for yourself, whether it be repurposing lumber from an old piece of furniture or even just making the pen boxes. And more importantly, guys, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another woodworking video.